Hello, Ender Sword here again. I just wanted to comment briefly on the MLG pay-per-view event, the Winter Arena for this weekend. There's obviously been a lot of talk about this on Reddit and Team Liquid and pretty much everywhere else, and people are whipped into a little bit of a furor about it. And I always like talking about business stuff, advertising, money, financing, that sort of thing. So I just thought I'd chime in with a little opinion on what I think is going to happen and ultimately what factors are going to decide whether or not MLG continues with this type of model or whether or not they revert to a different price point or abandon it entirely. So one thing people are talking about a lot is the type of revenue that they have coming in. I think that primarily we've got three sources of revenue coming in for MLG on this type of event. You've got the static revenue that is given by, say, their sponsors that have signed up for a long period of time. So this would tend to be stuff like the Dr. Peppers, the NAS, PS3, these type of guys that are their kind of more permanent partners in what they're doing. Odds are that they've decided to sponsor for a particular event or for the whole year or something like that and have given a set amount of money up front and said that that's what we're willing to pay for the rights to be one of your title sponsors for your events this year. So they already generally know what type of money that's going to be, and it can change in the future based on their viewership, but they're usually set for, say, X number of events or for 2012 or something like that. The second part of their revenue is going to be based, obviously, right off the number of viewers that they actually get quite directly. The first type is affected in the long run by the number of viewers. Second type would be actually directly running the ads, number of things that you click during the broadcast, number of ads that you actually view, products maybe that they sell during it, and so on. It's going to be very much tied to the number of viewers that they have. And the third revenue, obviously, is the subscriptions and packages themselves, which obviously in this case is going to be $20 for the Winter Arena. So what MLG is counting on is essentially that the subscription revenue is going to outweigh whatever the per viewer revenue lost is going to be. So it's hard to really tell what they think the per viewer revenue is actually going to be for their streams, but they probably have a pretty good handle on what it is. So whether they're making, say, $1, $2, $3 per viewer, something like that, they obviously know what it is, and they've got their own estimates of how many people are probably going to buy the package versus how many people are not going to and then not watch the stream. They probably have a decent sense of that based on the number of gold and silver packages they've sold in the past, and can estimate what number of people they can ultimately get on the stream, and they'll know the replacement rate they need. 1 out of every 10 people must buy it, or 1 out of every 20 people, or 1 out of every 5 people, whatever the rate actually is. They're aware of it. We're not really, but you can kind of speculate on what that may be. So ultimately, this experiment is going to be them determining if their rate and their math on this is correct, and whether they are actually compensated for going to this subscription service over the per viewer type revenue that they're getting. The additional risks that they may not be totally considering in this is that the Winter Arena is essentially a big advertisement up to their Winter Championship. And by cutting the viewership in one, they may unintentionally cut the viewership in the others. The MLG maintains a place as kind of one of the premier league in North America, and really probably one of the top 3 in the world. You've got your GSLs, your DreamHacks, and your MLGs that are probably primary, and then maybe Assembly and Home Story Toppers, some other ones behind that, but it's certainly kind of a premier, a major tournament sort of thing. If they start restricting access to that too much, then they risk losing the interest of a lot of the casual fans that aren't going to tune in to watch it. So there is a bit of risk going forward that they can actually turn people off in the long run by cutting them out of the story leading up to their championships. So we'll see how this ultimately plays out. I think what we're going to see in the long run is a cut to, say, probably a $10 price point. I can't see it dropping as low as $5. or we could see an inclusion into the gold package, a jump in the gold package pricing, and continuing to allow the free stream. A lot of people that are willing to pay the $20 to get access are the same people that would pay $20 or $40 to get a whole season of higher quality. So they may not be losing out on people if they offer both. By giving the free, anyone doing free and would only do free, they're at least going to get some revenue out of them. And if you give people the option to pay, there's some people, frankly, like myself, that will just pay whatever it is, both to support the company and because I want the higher quality, and I don't really care what it costs. I'm not too price sensitive about it. And I think a lot of people, anyone willing to pay the $20 for the weekend is probably not too price sensitive about it. So you're going to do it whether it is mandatory or whether it's something optional to do. So we'll see how it does play out, but I just wanted to address that. I always like talking about business stuff, and I've been talking too long about business stuff, so I'll let you go. Thanks for